today's video, we're going to talk about stabilization, stabilizers. Really the basics, more than anything, just kind of going over how you can use them to actually make you hold more still, potentially increasing your scores, and some things to look out for when you're looking at buying your first set of stabilizers. So this video is for you if you're really kind of just looking for more information on stabilizers and how to use them to your advantage, and when you should probably start to use them. So first off, before I get started, I really want to just say thanks to everybody who's been supporting this channel, first of all and foremost. From Patreon to the super thanks button, to channel memberships, people who have bought apparel, people who have bought books, booked coaching, things like that. All of your support's much appreciated. It genuinely contributes to keeping this channel going because, again, I'm producing this content for free for everybody around the world to absorb. So I'm really trying to do my best to make sure I put out as best of content as I possibly can at a given moment. And I'm also working on a lot of different projects at the moment. I've got some things that I've been tinkering with, as you can tell with this setup here that I've got in my hand. It is non-standard. There's a lot of things going on here because I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes that not many people know about. The patrons do know about it and some other people here or there, but it's been, really kind of kept on the down low. So massive apologies for a little bit of delay in content as far as like production quality is concerned and how many videos I'm producing as far as like actual instructional type things. In addition to the thing that I'm tinkering with here on this bow, stuff that I'm working on designing in Fusion 360, vanes that are coming out, Wave Pro vanes, very, very soon. I have the packaging, I have the vanes, I have 2 colors. That's all I can afford at the moment, but I want to launch this product here very, very soon. I just need to spend a little bit of time to prep on my end so that way I can fulfill orders as soon as possible. But these are coming, lots of things are coming. Lots and lots of stuff in the pipeline that I'm super excited about, including an app, a database to access all the data I've been gathering on this channel. And I really am excited to share it with you because there's nothing like it out there. Anyway, with all that being said, genuinely, I'm sorry about just the delay in the types of content and kind of, not doing things at least the way I would like to be doing them, at least to the level I want to be doing them. But I had a great request from a patron of mine asking about more beginner stabilizer setup stuff. Can you interchange the weights between different companies? When and where can't you do that, and how to get around a few different things? And I thought I have a really advanced type level of stabilizer video that I've produced on this channel already. I'll have links in the description below for that and a card at the top up there. Actually over there, it's been a while. That was a long time ago and it's a bit of a clunky video, so excuse the just the clunkiness of it, I guess. I want to share with you information on stabilizers and stabilizer systems, the type of different options that you can seek out and things that you want to consider as you're moving forward. So stabilizers are very basic things. Essentially all a stabilizer is a stick with a weight at the end of it. Now, this stick is very advanced. There's high modulus carbon in this one. It's very light, it's very stiff. There's vibration reduction qualities, not just in the carbon, internally in this stabilizer itself. There's some rubber that's inside that helps dampen some vibrations. Now, you might say, well, where are the weights that are on this stabilizer? Actually, this stabilizer is fairly advanced. This end cap unscrews, which weighs a little bit itself, plus there's some weight in the end of the rod, plus there's some hidden weights inside. So as you go through this, you'll see that there's many different options and a lot of different companies offering lots of different varying, sales gimmicks per se for you to buy their product and stick with their company over time. Now, essentially, what I said is true. This is just a stick with a weight at the end of it. As you get more advanced, I guess, you'll want to use things to your advantage more. Once you start getting comfortable with using stabilizers and you get it set up and you're really enjoying it, you can also heighten your experience by adding dampeners. That means things made of rubber that disconnect the weight from the actual rod of the stabilizer. And then there's also other things, different stiffnesses, different thicknesses, different diameters, outside diameters. You can see this one's nice and thin, this one's a little bit thicker, This one will be better in the wind than this one, but this one will handle more weight better. This one possibly is better suited for compound, this one better suited for recurve. And as things go on, and as you read more and more about product descriptions and details, you'll find a lot of information out. But I'm going to give you the basic things that really are important to you, the consumer, and what you need to know while moving forward in archery. First, before we get into the technical weeds, let's first talk about when you should even consider using a stabilizer. So if you are relatively comfortable and able to hold up your bow, even if it's a very basic bow like this Samick Sage, just made out of a takedown wood bow basically, and it fits your category, say you have a sight on the bow and you're easily able to shoot this with relatively good control, your arm doesn't get too tired, well then you might consider throwing on a stabilizer. Just a single long rod to start with is really all you need, like this here. And all it's going to do is give you a little bit of balance, and you'll see that the bow just kind of wants to rock forward on me and be a little bit more comfortable. When you're shooting these style bows without a stabilizer, the bow will want to actually kick back towards you as you let go, and it can make it be relatively uncomfortable. You can also use it as a nice post and talk to your buddies about stuff and look a bit cooler. But the benefit of it is that it actually gives you a little bit of balance. It helps hold the bow still through what is called rotational inertial resistance, maybe. I don't know. I'm probably making that up. Basically, in a really simple form, if you look at tightrope walkers, they have really long poles that they hold on to and they walk the rope because that slows down their movements a lot. And that's what this does for you when you're aiming. It slows down your aiming. That's the whole point of a stabilizer, is to actually stabilize you. So that's when you would want to start to use a stabilizer in general. You're comfortable, you can deal with the weight, you can add a little bit of weight, get even more comfort, get stronger, and then you might consider adding side rods, V-bars, and things like that. Before we get into talking about V-bars and side rods and things like that, we need to talk about the threads of the actual stabilizers first. This is the main thing that differentiates two different types of stabilizers, and it's really important for you to know first. So every single stabilizer always has the same thread here, the back thread, the thread that screws into the bow. For people who want to know, it's 5/16 24, 5/16 fine thread. That is the threaded bushing that is in just about every single bow out there. All of them are standardized roughly to that thread pitch, to that thread size. So any stabilizer should thread into just about any bow out there. Where the difference happens is at the business end where you put the weights. So this one has a hole for 5/16 24 in case you wanted to add more weight. So it's the same thread pitch as this one. However, there are weight systems and dampeners out there that use a totally different thread size. So I'm going to give you an example and show you what the differences in thread size are so you can visually see them. This is an adapter from 5/16 24 to 1/4 20. Two totally different thread sizes. Where 5/16 24 comes into effect is more of your higher end stabilizers, more oriented towards compound, but that technology and that fitment has come into recurve. So generally your higher end stabilizers and your higher end weight systems and dampeners are going to be in 5/16 24. Now there are some other things, like this is a Doinker, the brand as well as the actual product. It is a Doink Exo Doinker, I believe. You'll see here, it's a very small thread. That is for the 1/4 20 here, and this is actually an adapter, a 1/4 20 adapter that would adapt this 1/4 20 thread, a 5/16 24 weight. So it would screw onto that, and that's your adapter to be able to make that work. But there are also 1/4 20 weights available as well. So where these 1/4 20 weights come into play is generally on your recurve specific and also more budget-minded equipment itself. Basically, anything that is recurve only and has been that way for a very long time is going to be in this 1/4 20 thread, and anything that's more oriented compound is going to be 5/16 24. But some stabilizers and some dampeners come with adapters like this to go back and forth to 2. This dampener can receive the 1/4 20, or it can be adapted to 5/16 24. And actually, the dampeners that I use commonly in pretty much every video and everything that I've used for a very long time has been a doinker. This is a quadriflex doinker off of a quadriflex stabilizer system. Very old, from the 2006 era. I don't know how much they sold these things, but it's that dampener that has 1/4 20 inserts, and I've adapted it to 5/16 24 here. So I use bigger weights that are easier to stack with the 5/16 24 that I put on the end of the stick to adjust the weight of the rod. I know that was a bit of a deep dive and it was a lot of information, but it's important to pay attention to, because in the future, depending on what you want, you may want to purchase a stabilizer that is right away going to 5/16 24, because generally speaking, you'll have a nice, neat weight system that you can stack up that's nice with lots of different features. And as you get stronger, you're going to want to put a lot more weight on the stabilizer than when you first start. What I mean by that is when you start to screw stabilizer weights together, when they're 1/4 20, they end up being very long. The profile is very large, and then it adds just a bit of unruliness and a bit of kind of messiness to the system itself. Because on this stabilizer here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is aluminum, so it's actually less. So 9.3. The dampener itself weighs an ounce, so that is 10.3 ounces right here. And you can see it's a very short package, a very nice and neat package, and everything fits together beautifully. Whereas this here is 3 ounces between these two, 4, 5, 6, 7 ounces. This is only 7 ounces, and look at the size difference between the two. This thing sticks out a whole lot, and it doesn't even have a dampener in there. So if you add the dampener, you can see it's more than double the length itself, and it just isn't very nice. I don't like the 1/4 20 system for that reason. Generally, all the 1/4 20 weights are very thin and narrow like this as far as the outside diameter is concerned. Arguably a little bit better in the wind, but as you add lots and lots of weight, if I had 10 plus ounces on the end of my stabilizer, it would be this long. It would just be, it'd be ugly. It wouldn't be nice. So in a nutshell, that is why you want to pay attention to what thread count it is, what type of mounting it is, especially when you go to buy weights for the stabilizer itself. Because the stabilizer brand that you have might be 1/4 20, and the weights you want to buy are 5/16 24, and if they are, you need an adapter to make it happen. Some companies sell those adapters. I believe Doinker as a company does. I do not know of anybody else. Potentially Ramrods does as well, but I don't know of that many companies that sell those adapters. You can also buy them online, of course, through hardware-based companies like McMaster-Carr as well. One more quick added thing of the 5/16 24 system is that they have all available in 1 ounce stacks, and they are also available in aluminum weights that look exactly the same as those 1 ounce stacks. So you can just stack them up, stack them up, stack them up. You can use a long threaded piece like this and just thread and stack up tons and tons of weights, and you can actually use larger stacks like this that are 1 piece, so you can actually put 2 different weights or threaded areas on both sides and just continually add and stack up weights to an unlimited amount. And generally, when you're using the same thread, you can mix and match different weights from different companies, different dampeners from different companies, and different stabilizers of different companies. As long as the thread is the same, the thread pitch and the thread size is the same, you can mix and match as much as you want. I've shot bee stinger weights on a Doinker dampener on an AAE stabilizer. It doesn't matter. It's all the same as long as they screw together and fit well together. That's all you're interested in. So long-term planning, go with 5/16 24 in my opinion. Now let's talk about V-bars and side rods. So what is a V-bar? A V-bar is this, shaped like the letter V, and all it does is allows you to screw a stabilizer through another stabilizer, potentially using an extension and screwing it onto your bow to do something similar to this. See how I have a long rod, that's the main stabilizer, and 2 side rods. and the side rods are actually mounted on an extension. This is what an extension is. You don't even need an extension. This V-bar bracket, that's what this is, this piece here, can be mounted directly on the bow itself, and then the side rods can come off the side of the bow. But some people, myself included, prefer an extension to extend the entire system out a little bit. That does a few different things and can make it a little bit more comfortable for you in the long run. Why you would want to even add side rods is for the same reason that you would add a long rod, to make it even more stable for you. So as again you get more comfortable and stronger to deal with the long rod, you'll maybe consider adding some side rods. They come in various different lengths, from 10 inches all the way up to 15 inches. They may even go as short as 8, at least they used to. But generally the trend has gone to longer stabilizers, at least a 12-inch, potentially even a 15, depending on your individual feel. You really can't go wrong with 12-inch in my opinion if this is the first system you're buying. You might as well get that one, and you could desire the shorter ones as you get more comfortable with them and upgrade in the future, or desire the longer ones as again you get more comfortable and upgrade in the future. V-bars themselves come in a few different configurations. This one here is a double adjustable V-bar, so it's not only adjustable down and up in the angle itself relative to the long rod. You can see they're dropped down a bit. You can adjust that angle. You can also adjust the angle left or right, and you can do them each individually. So it makes it a bit complicated, I guess. But in that video I referenced earlier about me talking about stabilizers, I go over all those things and how to adjust and set up that stuff. This is a fixed V-bar bracket. This would be an extension that you can thread onto it, and then you'd thread that into the bow, of course. But you'll see that it's fixed. It's non-adjustable. There is nothing to really adjust and turn on it. It's just a splitter that allows you to screw side rods into it. This is a great place to start. Very inexpensive, very cheap, and you can get them pretty much anywhere. A lot of shops carry fixed V-bar brackets. Some are wider than others, some have down angles. You know, that's all personal preference. Personally, I like the ones with the down angles, but not many of those are like even really available that much, because these are very popular. Straight, solid V-bars that just jut out. This is a great place to start simply because it's cheap. Once you get to the point of where you're considering putting on side rods, then you'll start to worry about things like stabilizer length. A great place to start on the length of your long rod stabilizer is 30 inches. That is the most common length, and you'll use that no matter what type of stabilizer setup you're using. Now, if you're a super young kid or you have a young kid, you might want to go with a shorter stabilizer just because it's more manageable. But once you're an adult and you're able to manage the actual system, 30 inches is the way to go. Some people will go up into 33, some people will go down to 27. It really depends on personal preference again, but generally I'm going to say 90+% of the archery populace probably uses a 30-inch stabilizer. That would exclude youth people, youth archers, but you know, generally serious archers all use 30-inch stabilizers. Now, do you need dampeners? Do you need things that disconnect the weight from the rod to make it less vibration property, you know, less vibration feedback for you? That's up to you. Can you afford them? Do you want to buy them? Do they fit your color scheme that you're looking for maybe? I don't know. I would say they're a great thing to have. They're a great thing to use, and you can use them in various different ways. Various different ways being, do you have one on the long rod and the side rods? Only the side rod, only the long rod? That's all personal preference, personal feel, what you like. And as you have time and like to tinker, you may want to adjust those things. You may also want to tinker and adjust where the dampener is. Do you want 1 ounce on the end? All of the ounces on the end with the dampener on the end of the stabilizer and various different positions. All of that changes the feel of the actual bow, and is why I have these in different locations with different amounts of weights on the forward and back side of the actual dampener. But again, I've spent hours and hours and hours, arrows and arrows and arrows, experimenting, playing, seeing what works best for me, not only what I like the feel of, but also what I score best with. It does make a difference, and you know, you might want to play with that in the future once you get comfortable with a stabilizer system. So outside of, you know, that kind of information, there's not a ton to stabilizers. They again, are a stick with a weight on the end of it. They might have a rubber piece in it or two, or at the end of it to also reduce vibration. But primarily the main thing that stabilizers do is they make you hold more still. They can make you hold so still that at 70 meters, aiming at a yellow dot that is this big, which looks about this big, my sight pin will almost never leave the gold because I have adjusted my stabilizer system to the degree that it helps me hold the bow still. That stuff comes a bit later, of course, but in general, the main benefit, like I said, is to make you hold still. Secondary would be reducing vibration qualities, which is very beneficial. And third was what I mentioned about this whole balance thing. It's very important as well. A lot for comfort and a lot for confidence. Overall, stabilizers are something extremely important to consider having and using in your archery experience, especially if you're using a style of bow that allows you to use it, and even more so if the rules allow it if you are starting to compete in archery. If you enjoyed this video, consider sharing it, hitting the subscription button and the notification bell, hit the like button, things like that. All those things genuinely help this channel grow. I'm really just trying to produce really good quality content, again, for everybody around the world to absorb for free. I don't hold anything back, and I pride myself on giving really good, honest information to you because nobody did that when I was coming up and there was a lot of, I don't know, I guess hidden secrets type thing. And if you're interested in supporting this channel, check out links in the description below, many different ways to actually help out and allow me to continue to produce this type of stuff. Plus, consider checking out some of the books that I have, like this one. This one's Tuning for Performance. It's how to set up and tune your Olympic-style recurve, just like I do when I go compete with it at the Olympic Games. This is available on my website, Kaminski.com. And again, thank you to everybody out there who has been supporting this channel, and thank you for your patience. And sorry about the delay of a bit of quality dip. Like I said, a lot of things are coming out, and if you haven't yet, do subscribe to my email list on my website, because when I'm ready to launch those things, that will be the first place that you'll probably get notified, in addition to a video, of course, because I will release videos in the future, specifically announcing some really cool things that I'm super excited about in the very near future.